Yo, law infidels, that's right. Hacker Hameen, twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman early on a Thursday before we head out to Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling. Trying to get this in. Make sure you guys got a show at hackerhameen.podbean.com for your Friday locker room. Back with my man Big Stevie Cool. Obviously, in perpendicular to the square, we stay gold like flare. Escape from your dragon's lair. In particular, my beats travel like a vortex to the spine from your top of your cerebrum cortex. And we're coming straight for your cerebrum cortex today, infidels. It's not the Conspiracy Horseman, but that show's out today, too. So get both in your ears as Stevie Cool, Hacker Hameen take you into the Veteran Friday locker room. Y'all. Yeah, and the vets are coming to Rocky Mountain Pro. By the time you're listening to this, Stevie and I are flying high to the Mile High City, right? Is that what it is, Denver?
Yeah, they're very high. They have a legalized weed out there too.
So we'll be there to do a 2-day camp with Al Snow and Vince Russo. I can't really believe I'm saying that, to be honest with you. The OVW me is like, holy shit, here's definitely part of my past who I learned so much from, and my current one of my, I consider him and you mentors, obviously, to have it all cross paths, it's crazy, like what these Venn diagrams in my life do of patterns, how they intersect and cross. Even sometimes it takes 10 years to do it, though.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And Al's come full circle too. Now he was a trainer at OVW for many, many years, trained a lot of people who you're watching on TV today, and probably people that he's trained that you'll eventually see on WWE TV. And now he's the owner of OVW. So, I mean, never say never in so many different ways
Right.
that we can, we potentially could be in a similar spot if we have the right conversations with Russo and out there in Denver this weekend.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to look at it from that perspective, and to see, you never know what the future brings. And could be, even though it feels like a strange time, it could be a big pebble in the pond, and who knows what ripples 2-3 years from now maybe created and turned into waves, which turn into a tsunami, which crush you all. I don't know if I should go that hard.
We could be the Planet X of the professional wrestling world.
Planet X Division champion lives strong. The longest reigning title holder. Yeah, man. So we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to working. I think we're going to work on their TV show too. You guys might be main event dark. I don't know if they'll play that or not. It's not like either of you guys got a contract for no compete, so maybe you would be on as a super main event. I'd put it on. Why not? But yeah, good morning to everybody in the chat room, twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman. Fitzy's in there. Theory girl, how you doing? Looking great. So we're going to get into the news here in just a minute. Stevie, anything else you want to get down, put over, whatever?
Not really. I think everybody should really download the Conspiracy Horseman episode. We really had a good talk, and it was probably one of the few episodes where all four of us had a different opinion, and we kind of went at each other in a good way, and everybody who ever says that there's just four guys, or even in the case of the review show, three guys that all agree with each other, this will be an example that we do not. We were 2-on-2 yesterday, 3-on-1, all four different opinions.
Yep.
And if you're not afraid of the privacy concerns that have been going on for the past decades, I guess, and if you're not concerned with censorship, if you're not concerned with the Big Brother 1984 type of momentum that's happening in our world today, you need to listen to that and listen to what's happening to the people. You might not like Alex Jones, you might not like us, but eventually you'll be on that chopping block as well. We all will.
Yeah, there'll be nothing but spoon-fed media that is all propaganda, state written. It's super George Orwell 1984. It's exactly what it is. You nailed it on your promo on Russo, and last night was a good time. And we did chop it up with like probably 4 to 6 different scenarios, and I don't think any of us were married to them, like this is what's going to happen because of this, and this, but like as workers, we game played it out how they should be game playing out creative, like storylines, like which of these roads do you want to go down, and what does this lead to that, and what's the follow-up business, and who benefits and why. So It was definitely a great show. I thought last night needed to be talked about. I just watched Jacob Israel's video on it and the storms and everything. There's a lot of crazy content out there right now. Great video content that you guys don't need to watch this mainstream bullshit and be poisoned by. You can go and find out people who are talking how human beings should talk, I guess, and piecemeal things together. So it was a good show, man. I enjoyed it too.
Yeah, this show is also an example of how the WWE, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, New Japan, how their creative teams should be talking to each other as well.
Yeah.
You got to hash it out, man. You can't just be afraid of getting heat and be afraid of your check going away. It's got to get better, even though, $1 trillion from Australia, no sense of urgency with that money.
After that, you're mailing it in. No one gives a shit after that. Like, dude, we got $1 trillion. Fuck.
Yeah. Oh, what's a quick point too is like, why was Papadon like vilifying the ad stuff? Like I know Leak Project, I know a bunch of other people that do the VPNs and do the Patriot supplies and all that stuff, and that's going to be our audience, and that's people where it's going to buy. Yeah. It's up to them. It's up to them to buy it. We're obviously not going to say if it's a shitty product. We're going to try to pick and choose as much as we can, but
right.
It's a necessary evil. It's your choice whether you want to buy stuff or not. Just like I sell the bands in my store. I sell my own program, which I can control 100%, but also the products that I use technology-wise and fitness-wise.
Yeah.
Here's your code. If you want to do it, do it. I'm just giving you my thoughts on what it is. I'm not trying to push a sale. And even on the other end, there's the Amazon link that I have as well, that you can buy whatever you want. We'll still get a little bit off of that. So there's no harm, no foul. Remember, GGP seemed like he was trying to be too idealistic about that.
Yeah, I think that was just the easy way out of like selling dick pills, selling this. But like, I had to kind of stop the conversation and be like, that sure you might be selling bug out bags and all that shit for the super, like, not hoarders, but preppers, I guess. And like what's next and what's ready to go, but this step of restricting speech and just shutting that down, freedom of the press, like that's the first big step to when you're gonna need a bug out bag like that. So I don't know, man, we need to get our store up and running when it comes to that stuff. And I think he got it. It was just, and I wasn't trying to call him out like stop ribbing those people, but like even when they were making points and I was trying to go like, well, people say he says ridiculous shit, but look at the ridiculous shit he says. Sure, slave colonies on Mars when he's high on Rogan, whatever. But like, when it comes to his normal daily rants, what he's saying isn't that far out there. You have to fucking sift through the promo to kind of get what is, melodrama. But at the same time, it's
but like
real.
You said, how far? Okay, you got to not believe it all, or you got to kind of like put a little bit of thought into everything. Okay, so Sal or other people, there's a lot of people out there, I'd like to believe it too. Corey Goode says that he is on a jump program and goes to Mars and everything.
Yeah,
so if you can go there, why can't you have slaves
That's
there?
true. That's true. See, even me trying to discredit, like there it is. Like there's, if you want to believe Corey Goode, but Alex says something and he says it in such a crazy promo voice that people can easily dismiss it, where Corey Goode looks like he's been on tranquilizer since he was out of the womb pretty much, and he's putting it over a straight face where we can't call the work that much. Like, but here's two crazy things that, again, intersect in some Venn diagram, and what the truth is in that small sliver in the middle.
Yeah, and we all have our reactions to it, but let's use the Cosby math.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he raped 2 women out of 49. I mean,
yeah.
Well, we got to kind of believe he did the other 47 too. Then, that's what you're making. Yeah. Well, if we can believe 2 out of 10, you got to look at the other 8 and see, like, okay, well, and then somebody in the chat room said, I didn't even see it. They said they sent a video saying the frog thing was true.
Yeah, it absolutely was. Dude, what's it called? Is it tetrazine? No.
I forget. But when you put it as they're turning the frogs gay, it's such a polarizing reaction.
Well, that's what you see at all of these, face-offs between Antifa and right-wingers and just the people who want to yell shit about Alex Jones. Like, they rib the turn the frog gay. Like, that's all they know. And then when they're questioned on it, they back up again. So it's just same. I don't know, soundbite lifestyle. Like the fact we talk about Noah Posner and the Sandy Hook stuff, where I've seen Noah Posner's name and is Leonard Posner, the father's name, mentioned on mainstream media clips just in quick passing, but they don't know the whole story behind it of what really happened with, is Leonard Posner and Noah Posner even really real people? Part of a greater psyop that supposedly Leonard Posner's job is strictly to scrub the internet and get sites taken down for misinformation. Who do you think's paying for that?
Yeah. Does he work for WWE? To listen to podcasts and stuff?
I think he works for another 3-letter agency, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, Atrazine, Bro Rocker says for the Make the Frogs Gay. And that is, I mean, it's runoff from the Roundup plants and everything along these lines that, we're spraying our foods with. And doesn't that lead back to Agenda 21 and all this population control, sterilization, plus pushing feminine agenda for unisex to it's all wrapped up in there. When you start breaking it down, you can go, again, 6-7 different roads of why, who, it's all behind it,
Well, let's before we start talking about wrestling, which doesn't seem to be anything important after this stuff.
Yeah.
Why are they still putting fluoride in the water? There's fluoride in toothpaste. People know how to brush their teeth now. And the one city that took it out of their water, the government stepped in and forcibly made them put fluoride back in the water, which is actually, that's an ingredient in Prozac.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, docile, when the military also puts saltpeter in the water and other things to keep the guys docile, so they're not wanting to have sex or fight, or to keep them in line.
Right.
Who's to say there's not something like that in the water with a lot of people too, for population control or what? But just answer that one question before we get.
Yeah.
Just think about it. We have fluoride in our teeth. Who doesn't brush their teeth every day? And if you don't, it's your own choice. It's not like back in the 40s and the 50s where we needed to introduce this to keep kids' teeth clean. Now, there isn't a kid on the planet that's not brushing his teeth,
right,
or her teeth.
Well, I told you a couple times, right? I've told the story about the fluoride in school when I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
So, yeah, legit, just straight fluoride. Don't swallow it, swish with it, and spit it out, and just terrible chemicals. Like, to me, that was a total, government experiment on the masses that I was a part of at that time,
Mm-hmm.
And
they were unsuccessful.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a great Conspiracy Horseman last night. Very interesting to see how things are going to shake out. Check out Jacob Israel's stuff too. Friend of the show, had put out some great videos this week, and again, if you're out in Colorado way, we'll be there this weekend. So who knows for how much longer with Planet X coming. So let's get to it. From ProWrestling.com. All of us. Cody Rhodes talks All In Bet. All right, new All Us video. Hogan visits NFL training camp in WWE on Sami Zayn's surgery. On Sami Zayn's surgery, injured WWE star Sami Zayn underwent a second torn rotator cuff surgery this week. WWE.com issued the following statement on the procedure. Sami Zayn went into surgery to get his left shoulder earlier today to repair a torn rotator cuff, the Raw superstar revealed on social media. A tear in Zayn's right rotator cuff was surgically repaired back in June. Despite the dual surgeries, Zayn seems to be in good spirits based on his Instagram post. Quote, he says, "Whoever said bilateral rotator cuff surgery wasn't fun," he wrote. "I get to wear a gown." But when will Zayn get to wear ring gear? Stay tuned to WWE.com as his updates on his condition become available. And then Hogan went to Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I guess, to go to
that's right.
Yep. Big news I wanted to cover is obviously this guy's had double rotator cuff surgery, dude. Yikes. You think it's a new job for him, or he's coming back to the ring after that?
Well, just one rotator cuff surgery is anywhere from 9 to 12 months. It's a big deal to have that repaired. To have two, the only thing I would say, and I don't even mean this to be funny, it's not like when Billy Gunn tore his and he had a ton of muscle to build back up again in the shoulder and the cut through and more damage. Sammy doesn't have a whole lot of muscle on his body. Maybe after this he'll train differently and maybe he'll be stronger in a different way functionally. But it's not. I think his is more like if a regular person got the surgeries, and now he can heal and have a good foundation to build off of.
Yeah. They want to know in the chat room, when will he be able to drive Uber again? I don't know. Could be 9 to 12 months with 2 arms like that. It's going to be tough.
Keep your hands on 10 and 2. That's probably how he tore it on the turns.
Yeah, too fast in the turn. So it was.
I wonder if Jameis Winston got a hold of him. No pun intended.
It'll be probably a long time before you see him again. Man, I don't know if I want to come back, start throwing clotheslines and all that stuff, but we'll see how strong the addiction is, or if he can be reinvented and do something else. Maybe take Paige's spot after her next video drops or something.
You've been waiting for that, huh?
Yeah. Hulk Hogan, young classic competitor, and more WWE Hall of Famers backstage at Smackdown Live. According to PW Insider, there's some huge names backstage tonight at Smackdown Live taping in Orlando. Newly reinstated Hall of Famer Hulkster was there too. Some more Hogan news is apparently among them tonight. Alongside is his long-time travel companion, Jimmy, Mouth of the House, South Hart. Man, I'm tongue-tied.
Mouth of the House.
Mouth of the House. Mouse in the House Hart. In addition to Afa Anoa'i of the Wild Samoans, I can get Anoa'i, but I can't get Mouth of the South. Is reportedly backstage as his former WWE champion, Divas champion, Caitlyn, back there. Huge names. It's worth noting that none of these names are expected to make an appearance on SmackDown Live. Hogan's based out of Clearwater, and 75-year-old Afa lives just outside of Orlando, is likely visiting with family, as he is the great uncle of Jimmy and Jey Uso. Caitlyn lives outside Miami, but is in town for the Mae Young Classic. Tapings on Wednesday and Thursday, and still has several friends backstage on the SmackDown brand. So, glad people getting out, have a good time at the shows together. It's always a good time when somebody would show up, just to hang out at 2CW, whatever.
Long day just to hang out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go to the building unless I was booked. I'm still under that.
Yeah.
I'm still under that kind of thought process of just, if you're not booked, don't go to the show. Don't be a mark.
Right.
I'm not saying they're marks. I'm not saying Afa and Hogan are they have
Afa,
spots.
you mark.
but to me, it's like, yeah, you can show your face and do all that, but they got a million other things to do. They're not even paying attention most times, I would think, if you want to be seen.
Yeah.
Now, of course, if they want to have a bug up their ass, they'll turn around and say, "Oh, you weren't there. You don't love the business."
Right.
To which today I would answer, yes, you're correct. So I don't.
Yeah.
That's such a fucking. That's the NFL. That's the NFL concussion. Get back in there. Don't you love playing football? Even though the lights are out and you can't see straight and the curtains are falling, can you get back out there and play?
Get out there.
No. So, Afa is Roman's dad. Someone said possibly it's Sika or Afa's his uncle. One or the other.
I think it's his uncle.
Or Afa.
They would have put that over.
I think Sika is his dad. Is Roman Reigns' dad? I'm not sure. They're all related. How's that?
It's all one big incestuous.
They're all related, and Rock will buy them trucks. And there you go.
Say, right? You saw that The Rock bought his stunt double a truck there, and who actually ended up being his cousin, supposedly. So, but that guy, man, that's a hell of a career for that guy. 24 movies he's been able to do his stunt work for. So, I mean, he's pretty much set for life, right? Is whatever The Rock's going to do, he's going to be doing it.
Yeah, I hope so. He does a lot of dangerous work. I hope he's taken care of.
Yeah. Dan Severn, critical of CM Punk in his UFC career, former UFC champion and Hall of Famer and former WWE superstar Dan the Beast Severn discusses former WWE champ CM Punk's 2 losing efforts in the UFC after much debate as to whether Punk is a legitimate fighter. Unfortunately for Punk, as Severn states, Punk was writing checks with his mouth that his body just couldn't cash. I don't know about that. I don't think Punk was running his mouth. But, Dan Severn's still in, incredible farm boy wrestler shape. Worked showing them last year. I was like, Jesus, just hands of stone. You know what I mean? And I definitely think he could take Punk on his worst day, pretty much. So it's if that guy is looking at somebody and just being like, oh, this is a gimmick, especially if he's worked with so many gimmicks in pro wrestling, he knows that, sure, he might have tried, but this is some shit you have to come up doing since you were like 8 years old, with the amateur wrestling and all that. If you really want to compete, you can't jump into it. And I think that, he's not a vindictive guy. I don't think Severn is, but he's just saying, like, look at this. This was an amateur gimmick to draw some tickets,
He's coming from a place too where they used to fight tournament style in one night, and they weren't getting paid very much, and it wasn't cool to be a UFC fighter, an MMA fighter back in the day. You were pretty much a human cockfighter.
Yeah.
And a lot of commissions, governments, a lot of their eyes. You were making nothing. You're pretty much tough man.
Yeah.
Contest type of level.
And back at that time, it could have been CM Punk versus Dan Severn, no weight classes and shit like that, right? Like, it could have been the round one draw.
Be smart. Yeah, but Punk, it's big money. He made a lot of money doing both fights. He still has a name that is, he's doing this all in stuff. He's doing these signings. He still has his shirts, pro wrestling tees.
Mm-hmm.
Probably sells more T-shirts than you and I make in a year combined. So he's still a viable name. I think if he had a third fight, it could be in Bellator, and they'll pay him big money, and it'll draw something. He has that to count on. It could be that old school thing, like because Severn pretty much got starved back in the day. He made money because he's a name in sport, the crossover name in sports.
Right.
But there's always that thing where if guys are making a lot of money, and Punk didn't deserve to be in UFC, but he deserved to be in UFC because it made the company money. It wasn't his fault. It was UFC's fault for making the fight and booking it and paying him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, and that helped their draw the first time. I don't know about the second time as much, but it was it did what it needed to do, and it was something for everybody to watch and go over. Like, you can come one way, but you can't go the other. Brock was a legit shooter and came this way, and now he's back over there. But you can't start phony and then try and get legit. It doesn't work out too well.
That was the point I was thinking right there. But pro wrestling, MMA is tough. MMA to pro wrestling, see, it's somewhat easy to lighten up your shots if you can, because even sparring doesn't.
Or you don't have to, like Ronda Rousey, and shoot hip toss arm.
Do you want to segue into that? Because that's kind of a.
Go ahead.
Was there any news stories about it? If it was
there, I haven't seen anything where it's like Alicia Fox's shoulder hurt after Raw match. I haven't seen that. If anybody in the chat room has seen anything on any fallout from Ronda Rousey versus Alicia Fox looking a bit shooty, let me know. Because I think that was a rib on Alicia Fox after the shit at Mania got leaked out. Like, of all the people you're gonna put with Ronda Rousey, and I like Foxy, but like, would Alicia Fox even be in the top 3 names?
I'd put her in the ring with Mickey.
Right.
If you want to get a good match out of her, you want her to go forward. Yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, I'm echoing a little bit. I'm done. Yeah. Bing, 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 bing. What my question is, well, if there wasn't any kind of follow-up on WWE.com or any kind of stuff where they were putting over that her arm was hurt and that Ronda's submission, that to me is a red flag, because, yeah, maybe it was that way, and they didn't want to make too much out of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Maybe it was a little bit of a shoot, and there was some stuff.
I think it was. I think it was that Mafia. Okay, it's WrestleMania. You embarrassed us a little bit with your bullshit, being out drinking and talking some shit to Ronda Rousey's husband. We're gonna wait, and then maybe like there was some heat that they thought that cooled off, but it never cools off. They're just picking their spot to get their shit back over. Oh, and by the way, you're working Ronda Rousey next week. What? Yeah, you're gonna start a small program with her so we can get her over off of you. Like, what? Like, like, that's just how they'll do it. They'll throw that shit out there just as like we haven't forgotten, fuck you, kind of.
So isn't that a form of bullying?
Well, it is, but it's Cold War tactics. So, like, no one can really say it's because you did this. No one's going to come out with that reason.
I've been in, I've been in that spot before.
I know.
I've been in that spot before a few times, for whatever reason. Actually, more times than usual, just for fun.
Can you give us an example? Can you do something?
I think you know who it is in WWE that I was thrown in the ring with. So and that's something there that to put somebody in the ring, or to put somebody in a fight. Say Colby's talked all this shit about Woodley.
Yeah,
they're gonna fight, But, Colby's a light. It's not like Dana goes up to him and says, oh, by the way, both your hands are tied behind your back, or I'm throwing you in there with Brock, who outweighs you by 100 pounds.
Right.
Do you see what I mean? Putting him in a position where he cannot defend himself.
Sure.
Alicia Fox, for whatever reason, whatever she did, or whoever they should have released her, punished her, or not, or got her off TV, not put her on there. We're speaking hypothetically and speculating if this is the case. You shouldn't do business like that because, well, first of all, you're saying you're past it. You're not that company anymore. You're corporate and now you're proper and you care about the talent, concussion protocol. But it's just, to me, I just think about it. It holds me up just to look at that and say, man, are you still doing this? Are you still that fucking petty that you're going to do this? Are you kissing Ronda's ass that much that you're going to throw this sacrificial lamb at her? Whatever the case may be, you're putting a human being at risk for the sake of just no good reason.
And two times that, you're also testing Ronda because the conversation went down like, psst, hey, come here. Hey, tonight when you're out there, and give her the real hip toss. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a test for Ronda. Is she gonna either protect her opponent or go in and do what manager tells her to do on the side, which is legitimately a hit job, and do it to pop management to stay over with them, knowing that you're going to go up on the pecking order because you carried out orders. Now you're corrupted, and what else won't you do next?
Now, see, when it happened to me in the mall, I tried to always compartmentalize it. But if I was her, she might, I'm not saying she deserved it, but maybe she has heat in the locker room. Maybe she's not well liked. Who knows? I will say this, though, when that kind of shit happens, and I don't ever want to know about it. See, when the people start talking like that in locker rooms, even today, which is ridiculously fucking stupid on the indies, I walk away because I don't want to know about it because I know I was the guy walking back with a bloody nose or internal bleeding or on any of these other fucking problems that I had and looking at everybody and just seeing the looks on their faces that they knew and they're supposed to be my friends or supposed to be people I trust. Never fucking trusted any of them again. It was all business after that. Okay.
And think about what Foxy was feeling maybe after that match, after 3 fucking deep shoot hip toss arm drags and shit, right?
Yeah, so if anybody's trying to be friendly to her and be friends after that, you're a fucking mindless cunt. Yeah. That's all you are. You're just a company person that's willing to just the crab thing, just push everybody down in the pot to get up there. Whether that's reality or not, I don't have to fucking live with it anymore, and you don't have to put yourself in that position, and I'll never do it again, except with Al Snow, who's a monster. That can't be helped.
Oh, sweet.
I mean, I mean, we talk about doing certain things in regular way, but these people have well beyond deserved any kind of treatment to be strung up. These are fucking people in Pizzagate and fucking hit jobs. Like, this is not fake fucking. It's fake fucking wrestling. If you're gonna shoot on me, give me the Iggy that you're gonna shoot on me. It's my choice to go out there or not. Don't throw me into a situation I think is fake, and then all of a sudden.
Holy shit! I'm wrestling Nunzio. Like,
yeah, exactly. I knew that actually was going to happen.
No, man. All that could be hypothetical. We could be reading into it too much, but based on past behaviors and what we know here on the Friday Veteran Locker Room, I'd say it's probably a 60% chance that that's how it went down.
And they put all that thought into that over a 2-week period, but they keep fucking overlapping. Then no thought into actually doing business. I would be very interested if she gets released within a month, if she's not on TV and then she gets released, and that's what they were waiting to do. So you're waiting all those months instead of trying to write a good show.
Right.
This is just, I've seen it experience-wise. They've strung that out over months, but they won't write a program that draws money for months.
Right. They've been plotting and planning when's the time to pull the trigger on it, and let's see it all come together. Yep. And then you watch how the mice scatter for the cheese afterwards. That's how you keep them all in line. Becky Lynch on possibly bringing in SmackDown Women's title to Ireland's president, so doing the Colby gimmick. And then Katie Taylor's potential in WWE. I'm not sure that is. WWE Live, SmackDown Live star Becky Lynch recently spoke to the Irish Mirror, and below are some of the interview highlights on possibly bringing the SmackDown Women's title home to Ireland to meet President Michael D. Higgins. She said, quote, "I would absolutely love to go to ours with a title, and me and Mike would have a great time. We could have a cup of tea, have a chat, then get a picture, and he can even hold the belt for a second." Haha. On potentially helping bring Irish boxer Katie Taylor if she ever wanted to sign with WWE. She says, I would absolutely love to work with Katie Taylor in WWE. She is amazing. What she's done for women's boxing is incredible. So if she ever wanted to come over and make the transition, I would take her under my wing. You know, I haven't watched any Katie Taylor, so I imagine she's, you know, tough ass Irish boxer chick. That you know, anybody who does the Irish boxing thing, dude, that's a easy even with Connor, easy merch, right? Easy built-in fan base if you put over Ireland. So be interesting. Do you think that she's going to take the title at SummerSlam?
No, I think they obviously are gonna turn her heel against Charlotte. Charlotte's gonna win it back.
Right.
That's my guess. What about you?
Yeah, I think it's smart. You obviously have Charlotte win it back. Carmela's the one that took her out, talked all that shit. Becky Lynch is kind of the third wheel in this, unless they do a swerve and she sneaks one last minute, and people are like, what? After they wanted the pop from Charlotte and they botched the fucking finish up creatively, which they could. But all sense in the world says Charlotte up.
Unless she turns heel and wins the title, and now Charlotte chases her.
Yeah, you could. I could see him doing that, but you know what she's talking about, babyface shit to go. Well, Colby's a heel, so I won't say that either. You know, like they could be working the exact same gimmick off the Colby Covington stuff, and they may do it just based on that.
Possibly. Well, there's no such thing as heels anymore. Anyway, she'll go on social media and thank Charlotte after turning on her.
Yeah.
No.
Excellent. Just looking in the chat room, somebody said excited I got to finally see a show live. Sets UA. Shout out, this is your Friday locker room. The replay of Conspiracy Horsemen is still on here now. I usually don't do them on reruns, but you can find them in the videos. I'll have it out on Realm Network and Russo Brand. Realm Network is Russo Brand, and hackerhameen.podbean.com tomorrow, along with this locker room. But right now you're watching live. Just easy for us to do some extra content and download it and then produce it. Let's see. How about the boxing chick coming over? Seems like she got the best chance than she ever has right now, probably.
I think so. It's difficult to go from boxing to full mixed martial arts too.
Yeah.
So wrestling would be an easier transition for that. I don't know what they would do with her. They have a lot of girls that are kind of shoot fighters now.
Yeah. Well, with the boxing thing, I would do what we just talked about and turn Becky heel and then really have her as heel and do the whole Floyd Mayweather thing again, you know, where boxing. I put them both in gloves, though, and like just let her knock Becky's, face off.
Do you think they would push her that quickly, or she spent 2 years in NXT? She's completely untrained.
I would do it as like
boxing match,
3 to 4 weeks, in the boxing match, and then from there we can see about sticking around for wrestling because she's not really at the end of her boxing career, I don't think. So she might not want to leave and just do a quick money payoff and that. So why not put the title on her, have her go to Ireland, let it kind of start there, and then that she's the champ. They obviously would get some photo op there, and then Charlotte can chase her, beat her for the title, and she can be healing and then bring her in. You don't need to have the belt or anything at that point.
Yeah, and if she gets a big head, she can always just, they can book her on Raw against Ronda. Some hip tosses in.
It'll be good. WWE reportedly high on sanity member. Miz and Dolph Ziggler become CPR certified, and Sable celebrates a birthday. It's quite a headline. CPR coach trains Miz and Dolph Ziggler so the A-lister can be well on his way to becoming super dad. Miz and Mrs. airs Tuesday, so on next episode. But another story I said I've heard it's held strong over the 3 weeks. They're really happy with it, so good. Sable turns 51. Married to Universal champ Brock Lesnar. I'm sure she's still high as hell. WWE reportedly high Insanity member, some idiot named Meltzer, was recently asked by a fan who is Insanity WWE feels has the most potential. Meltzer claimed it to be Killian Dane. I guess if that's the big fucking story that they like Killian Dane, because Meltzer said so. What the fuck?
This is the same guy that I was interviewed for a paper in Oregon about Colby, who said that, and this is where we talked about him on Horsemen, he gets him out. He didn't say the word probably or something, or somewhere along the lines to get himself a free pass for being wrong. But this guy's talking about how Impact Wrestling coached Colby on promos, and he like had the whole inside scoop on how Colby was like developed his personality, the PR, the marketing, and everything, having no idea that John Hartnett and I were working with Colby months before.
Yeah, no idea.
And Impact tapes once every 3 to 4 months. How are they jamming all that coaching in to get him ready for everything?
Yeah.
Such a fun. I mean, dude, $12 a month. Russo's right. I mean, for everything, just to get $12 a month for that.
Yeah.
And we're worried about taking $1 to $2 a month off Patreon for full documentaries we want to produce.
Right. I know. We got to get in touch with our dark side. Sucks that the biggest heels are always the nicest guys, don't it? I want to be a fucking clueless asshole who's greedy once in a while too. It's the clueless part that I have a problem with.
I think he's probably on some gas.
Possibly.
Speculating. Allegedly.
Yeah.
Probably.
Possibly.
Maybe. Who knows?
Jesus Christ. SmackDown Live leads Tuesday night cable ratings despite viewership drop heading into SummerSlam. 8/7 edition of SmackDown drew an estimated 2.197 million viewers, less than 2 weeks out from the company's second biggest pay-per-view event of the year, SummerSlam. This week's show saw the lowest score of the last 4 weeks, and it was down approximately 8.5% from July 31st, but the drop was expected given last week's show drew the biggest number since post-WrestleMania episode. They are still well within the average range for this summer's numbers. In terms of competition, America's Got Talent did an impressive 11.04 million. NCIS drew 5.26 million. And in the 8 p.m. time slot for television, SmackDown Live actually led the night for cable for the key demographic, followed closely by Below Deck Mediterranean on Bravo and WWE's own Miz and Mrs. on USA Network, which came in third for the night. So, man, 5.26 million for NCIS, huh?
It's a good show. Is it a rerun?
I don't know. Maybe. I've never watched one, to be honest with you.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I think they're still on the air. Dude, this is where it's very tough because it's, they're making the trillion from Australia and they got the deal with that. We're kidding, but they got a lot of money from Saudi Arabia. They got a lot of money from the TV deals. It is in the billions total that they're getting. So we always say it like, well, why would they listen to us? Why would they try to fix anything? They're making more money than they ever made in the history of the company. But it all comes down to this. Don't you take any pride in what you're doing? Are you putting in 24 hours a day? And the guys are working 24 hours a day, essentially, for just money. Like, you got to be more than, you got to put out a product that has a legacy. I talked with John Carnage. He was one of the founding members of Twitch, and he talked about the Amazon takeover. And it really is like, we were texting back and forth yesterday, and he was like, WWE is horrible, without me prompting him. He was like, it's horrible. I watched 2 days of it, and I haven't watched it in a while. And I said, yeah, I mean, it's just like, but they're making money. He goes, I think they're trying to sell. I think they're trying to sell. They're making all these deals. They're making all this money. They're building up their value. The stock is higher than it's ever been. And he goes, and the product is as scripted and bland as you can get. So it's an easy buy for a company like Disney who wants to buy something, any kind of entertainment. It doesn't have to be Disney per se, but Disney would be Disney will throw, $1 billion at them, no problem. Here you go, just for the stock or just for whatever. And there you have it. I mean, there's got to be a reason. Vince bought they started up the XFL. Once it started up, I think that's going to fail before it even gets started because there's going to be adjustments made. But if he's going to devote his time to an entire football league, maybe that's where a lot of the staff and a lot of the people will transition over if the sale happens. But you have to keep Stephanie and Hunter and Kevin Dunn there for 5 or 10 years. There has to be a carryover.
I mean, that's the thing. Is there a vote of no confidence in there, and they're just going to be done? Like we had our wrestling run, we're out of there. Or when they sell, does Stephanie and Shane all become part of the package and Dunn and all them to stick around, or is everybody just really, I'm through with it, we're moving on? XFL, I mean, we saw Vince with the 2 weeks ago with the women's announcement. Like, does that look like a guy who's ready to run a complete football organization from the ground up, who's a hungry tiger or lion to, like, I'm going after the biggest name in sports, really franchising? Like, dude, I did not have the confidence there when I saw him. I was like, that was the first thing I thought of. I didn't really care about the announcement. I was just like, oof, dude, that's going to knock another 5 years off his life in 1 year. You know what I mean? Just the stress of that.
He would have, we talked about it before. He would have been better to try to buy the Panthers or try to buy an NFL team. Would have cost him a couple billion, but man, if he kept the stock, he would have almost had it if he did that.
Only got to worry about one team then, not a whole league, you know.
What is, I mean, can you see, when he said it to me, it made sense because I can't see them wanting to sell it because it was always Vince's vision.
Yeah.
But now it's not his vision
What
anymore.
does that look like? What does that look like post-sale? Say it went to Disney. Like, what is a WWE without McMahon's? Triple H would probably maybe be able to stay on. I doubt it because they'd probably want to, get rid of Stooge Core, I guess, but that'll never happen. But, like, what does a post-WWE sale look like? I don't know. That's strange.
I would assume they would do crossovers. I would assume too that they would probably have better writers. That Disney will employ writers that like worked on the Guardians of the Galaxy or the Avengers. They would make it like, and they probably would have seasons like a TV show where they would have mid-season finales and then give them a break. It would look a lot like TV. Now I think that's hurting wrestling too. Is there's no off season. I think there should be a break. It should run like Arrow or The Flash or something where you have
just to take it away from fans so they're not oversaturated.
2-3 months, you have them work the house shows. Then you have them work tours. You have them do Comic-Cons. You have them do all that stuff, and then you know they're already plugging like October for new seasons and stuff on CW. You have all these trailers. You have all these characters. You have character development. You have acting classes. You have the improv stuff you're talking about. The people are working year round, but then you put on a good television product. Here's our 4 months of season, and this is what we're going to do, and it's all written out.
Yeah,
and let's do it. And then we have another 2 or 3 months to write another 4 months.
Justin French says, do we think somebody like a Mark Cuban will ever drop a couple of $100 million and start a company to go against WWE like someone where money isn't a problem if they fail? Oh, well. Why wouldn't Mark Cuban? He could be the guy to buy WWE, I guess, at the end of the day if he wanted to.
He would, but he's invested with New Japan with his television network.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be a conflict, and I don't think he wanted – I think he would buy New Japan.
So there you go, Justin. I think that too. And would he keep guys or develop new guys who's the next Young Bucks or, where they could have capitalized on Bullet Club, and even now I see the potential for that to even go so much bigger than it has. And like no one's really pulled the final trigger on making it corporate and really getting the big final payday out of it,
I think Cuban, he has the Mavericks. That's the team he owns, right? Dallas Mavericks.
Yep.
He's got his hand in a ton of other things. Like we talk about, like, let's use an analogy. Like I sometimes get a bug up my ass to like open up a gym. I want to open up a training studio. I think it'd be cool to open up a training studio. But then I look and say, man, all the potential I have, I'm running this operation, this entire brand with very little to no overhead, except for my production cost, my time to make the program, the support, which I love to do. Do I really want to like be just another gym owner that has now $2,000-$4,000 a month of overhead that I need to make back? Or can I start from this, throw all my time into this and not be locked down to hours? That's what I'm saying. Cuban's probably measuring the work-life balance. Like I have all this stuff and I can just play around with the New Japan stuff on my TV network. I can go to it whenever I want. If I want to do a little buy-in, I'm going to do it. But once he owns it, it's like I got to deal with the kid's neck injury. I got to pay for that. Right. I got to see if someone's getting busted at the border for drugs. You know what I mean? He's hands-on, but he can still just kind of say, okay, I don't have this.
Yeah, he can be fluid with it. He doesn't have to be all in.
It's all been. yeah, he's just you know what? It's something to play with. And unfortunately, I think Vince thinks about the XFL that way. Dude, they just got turned down for Oakland, and Oakland is fucking begging.
Yeah.
For something. And who else? USC or something, or there was a college stadium that turned them down. Was it Cal?
I think it was USC.
Dude, that's not good.
No, that's not good, dude. I don't know. Is there covert NFL stuff happening behind the scenes too, with owners of in NFL teams and the whole NFL franchise talking to cities where they know where they want to go and they're getting to them first? Interesting. 8/8 edition of the new hit series Ms. and Mrs. watched by an estimated 1.225 million people this Tuesday night. While viewership was down 5.7% from the 7:31 episode, the show still came in third, as we mentioned earlier. While WWE is yet to confirm a second season for the show, the strong ratings are obviously a good sign that we'll see the power couple back on TV for another go-around. Total Divas at its absolute best at 1.67 million for a single episode and are now averaging 600,000 views per episode. Wow. So the 7/29 season finale of Total Bellas did just 610,000. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really care. I don't watch either of those shows. I saw that what's her name, Nikki Bella, moved out of Cena's place, and that rumors were that Cena is smashing Carmela on the side.
Well, some things never change within the politics of people getting pushed out of nowhere, and that's good. They're making it. They're consenting adults making a choice, and now she went from being a manager to being completely on top. All right, we talked about on the Horsemen, Bob Dylan selling his soul to the devil, making the choices for that fame.
Yep.
Every one of those people on there, I would say, if they had the machine behind them, this is what I really. Wrestling's great, but it's also heartbreaking because everybody gets to a certain point in WWE, and I believe also Impact, Ring of Honor, New Japan. If the machine gets behind you and protects you and takes care of you creatively, everybody can be a star. Like Carmela's the champion, and by the end of September, after SummerSlam and the rematches and all the other stuff and everything, she could be back on main event and never see her on SmackDown again.
That's true.
It's just a vicious cycle of what happens.
Yep.
And
look at Jinder.
Yeah. Oh, Jinder. Well, he obviously didn't have sex with Cena. Yeah. So
that's probably why he's not on the push anymore.
Fuck. Oh, jeez. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say except, did you see the Nakamura Emperor picture I sent?
Is that the book cover?
Is it?
Yeah. That's the cover for his book.
Well, we thought a year ago, there's no way they're ever going to go the racial stereotype route with somebody like Jinder, and now he's the love guru. Yeah, now he's Gandhi. I mean, Vince is, oh God, I just saw this guy, this hot young talent, Gandhi.
Gandhi.
Who's this Gandhi I keep hearing about?
I like your diaper, pal.
I like the Gandhi all over you. Oh, I got a hunger strike for you there, pal.
Somebody trademarked the name Gandhi.
But that's really like, you're using a gimmick that's from a guy that's fucking been dead for 75, 80 years.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That's it.
By Nakamura, dude, I mark my words, because I heard he might go back to New Japan when his deal's up.
Yeah.
Might not be the stupidest idea ever when it runs its course. If you see him turn around and he's saying, I'm doing it because you Americans, this is the way you view me. This is what you think I am. And they'll throw him on Kenzo Suzuki's old out. Remember he had him and his wife, I was with the company when they were there, and they painted her up like the geisha girl.
Yeah.
All right. I thought it was Mandela effect because no one else remembers.
No, I absolutely remember that. He always reminded me of like a magician, a Japanese magician. I liked his gimmick.
I love it, pal.
Yeah, Japanese magician. Yeah. Somebody in chat room says, "Oh, bro, Nikki said she had $1 million budget for a house." Remember that? She's not hurting. I wouldn't doubt that. No matter who's seen a smash, and she's obviously getting paid. Ronda Rousey on what Vince McMahon told her at WrestleMania 34. Her most memorable WrestleMania moment. That's her only one. Or, well, no, that is her second, sorry. Her goal in WWE is it's definitely a goal of mine to be one of the first women to headline WrestleMania, said Rousey, but who that would be against her, even if that's possible, is yet to be seen. On her WrestleMania 34 in-ring debut, I usually just walk out and I'm all business, but Vince specifically told me to go out and allow myself to feel everything that I was feeling and not hide anything, revealed Rousey, and not to try and go out and be the tough girl, but to allow myself to smile, enjoy it, because according to Vince, when I smile, the whole world wants to hug me.
Huh? What the fuck? What was that?
According to Vince, when you smile, the whole world wants to hug you.
Who is this man? Like he would never. I see him with his arms around people, and people like he would never want people within like his 18 inches. You know what I mean?
Maybe grandkids soften the old man up. Who knows, man?
Oh man, I got to meet this guy. I gotta get to know this guy because I think if Punk can work this motherfucker, I think I can squeeze a little bit out of him.
On her most memorable, just get out there. The whole world.
That's a Master Chief Theater. Yeah. Ronda going out for a match and Vince pumping her up. By the way, go out there and have fun. Go out there and have fun. Go out there and have fun.
Just get out there.
Okay. Yeah, all right. So you go out there and have fun, and you're by the curtain and gorilla, and then they're like, you think you have 12.
Yeah.
Now you're by the curtain. Hey, you have 4. Okay, I got to think on the way to the ring. If I had an IFB in my ear, it'd be like you have 6.
Yeah.
Get to the ring. I'm going the second rope, doing my thing or whatever. Referee comes over, taps me. You got 9. Okay, this is so much fucking fun right now. All right, then fucking lock up. You got 1. Then lock up. Then you start to go home. No, you have 15. Dude, if you think that's exaggerating.
No.
I'm telling you, every week. And that's why the talent is so awesome that they can do that in very little. I wouldn't say the girls so much, but most of the guys can get by without.
I've heard, like Baylor is completely miserable. Like a lot of people are just in misery up there right now, like because of that same shit. But when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you.
This chat room is actually doing really well today. We got a guy who says, Stevie, you probably think you're a new up-and-coming talent. I should just go up and shake his hand and introduce myself.
And tell him, hi, Stevie Richards, sir. I was hoping to get a tryout.
Holy shit, who's this? Oh, my goodness. How old are you, 19? I believe you.
Yeah, I like that, pal. You got a good physique on you. I like nobody's doing the no sleeves all the time bit. That's your thing now.
Yeah, how many hours of sleep do you get? 1 minute less than 100. Oh my God.
Let me see your smile. Oh man, I want to hug you. On her most memorable moment from WrestleMania, the most memorable moment from WrestleMania was right after I won, said Rousey. I was looking around trying to find my husband and our 2 boys in the stands. When I did, I began being able to tell them I love them and share that moment with them was one of the best memories I have because despite all my previous successes, this was the first time I had my own family there to share it with me. And nobody really punched me in the face for real.
I was about to say too, but she wasn't looking for Alicia Fox.
Yeah.
By the way, please give me that quote again.
When you go out there and you smile, the whole world just wants to hug you.
Okay, let me see here. The whole world.
I'm pretty sure that was it. Let me just double check. Oh, bring that tab back up.
Okay, at Vince McMahon, quote, when you go out there and smile, the whole world just wants to hug you. 5 hearts.
I'll retweet that. I'll retweet it. When you're smiling. Yeah, I like this guy's tweet.
Yeah, where's James Dean?
Positive. Yeah, James Dean, get over here. Look at this positive mental attitude this guy's got. Not walking around here with his goddamn boo-boo face on all the fucking time. Now get out there and smile for me. Yeah.
Dude, I can't wait till the assistant of the person that runs his social media to reply to it.
Tweets and replies, Stevie Richards. And like and retweet. All right. Uh,
He hasn't answered my last one when I said my royalty check was late, so I just didn't expect him to answer this one either. Thank you, Vince. Dude, what do you think if their stooges listen to this? Do you think they actually pop for it? Like these guys are
dude, they gotta be. That's their job. I've been told there's 2 or 3 guys that are hired just to listen to podcasts, which means they fucking are paying for a Melter subscription too, possibly, to fucking just listen to Stooge Reports. So they're listening to Russo. I know they used to listen to WrestleZone. And I don't know if they're on Hacker Hameen brand or not because I'm not known for breaking news. We'll see.
And you do the show alone.
Yeah, by myself. No co-host. I'm imagining it all. This is just, I'm actually in a insane asylum, not on twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman. I'm just talking in the corner, pretending that you're my co-host. I do both voices.
So the guys, they used to pass around the Observer at the office, even up until like when I was there in 2000. I have no doubt that subscription is still there.
Isn't that the Stooge? I don't really care anymore. I'm not politicking for any jobs. What's his name who works in NWA with Corgan now, and he was in Impact.
Logano.
Isn't that what happened to Logano? Because during the Y2J when he was coming back, and it was the big secret, not the Y2J original, but when he was coming back, that it was getting stooged off online, that it was him talking to the sheets, and they actually found like physical sheets in his bag one day, and that's when they started tracking cell phones. Remember when they were doing all that shit when they wanted to bring Jericho back?
And then kayfabe was dead. I don't know if you want to vilify Logano for that kind of stuff.
Well, I think that's what was like this. And this is all rumor, hearsay. Like that was kind of what broke the straw that broke the camel's back on that. Like, because they were looking for the mole, and he was actually, that high up on the food chain, and he was the one stooging, supposedly.
There's in our Master Chief Theater that they said they're going to catch them all.
Yeah.
And Vince is saying, we got to, okay, we got this fake script and we can leak. Vince, no, it's got to be authentic. We got to leak the real one. Because they leaked the real Raw script like 4 weeks in a row not too long ago. That's not Logano.
Well, I thought that's how they got him. Like, they busted him is because they flushed some bullshit information down the pipes.
And probably back then, but then now they think that they're going to get the big fish with the real stuff.
Yeah.
But they leaked. Remember, they were leaking the entire show and then the circle and the names and all that. I mean, God, man, and it didn't stop. And I don't know if they fired that guy or girl or whatever, but good Lord, I mean, that's just.
It's always a good little mole hunt like that when somebody cozies up with them. Allegedly.
I will say this though, you shouldn't put your resources into that because we predict the show each and every week, days before it even happens.
Pretty easy, yeah, no doubt. And all that story could easily have been built up to bigger than it was with Logano. I don't know anybody firsthand source with that, but that was a trickle down I heard.
Well, my thought on that would be too. They were looking for a reason. I always think if you're going to, because there was probably other stuff before and they kept them, but if they're looking for a reason, they're always going to find one. Like we talked about with the Hollywood people, you'll do something, you'll be a part of something unethical or whatever. And then when they want to get you out of there, you continue their practice, but you get caught. So everybody has sheets. All the writers have them. Everybody subscribed. You just said they pay somebody to listen to a podcast.
Yeah, and they're taking notes. And how many things have we seen go from Russo to like be small changes here and there, right? Even what we talked about, it's not up here as a news story, but I saw people blowing up on Twitter hitting us up that Velveteen Dream and EC3 was awesome last night. They actually went outside the arena and went to a different location. I'm not sure I haven't watched it yet. But how much have we said that of like they won't leave the fucking arena? Maybe these guys are just actually listening and going, shit, let's do what they're saying, Even Russo puts over that he was texting with Elias, back on the kayfabe this week. He breaks that when he first started for that. And I know I've seen other things with Elias where he's like, I didn't really get it in this business till I trained with Rip and he told me about character and how to do it. And Rip doesn't put that shit over either. He don't give a fuck because he don't watch the program. But like, that's the reality of like where guys are going. They're going to outside sources. They're not going to the writers going, hey, could you coach me on this? What should I do here? You know, they're contacting like the boys will on the sly, Russo, or I'm sure Rip talks to Elias weekly too, but you're not going to hear about it.
Yeah, he seems like a guy that just he's going to get his business and make himself better, and maybe they, maybe that's what happened. Maybe he went outside the bubble, and
Yeah,
that's why for week after week after week he was getting. We were like, how much more can they bury this guy?
right. That's true too. Yeah, you definitely don't want to be found out about that because then the fucking stooge core will really be in on it. So
Yeah. By the way, let's put over the new Twitch logo that Greg Mosier made. That was a really cool one that you have up there between us.
yeah, the new Twitch logo. Yeah, I
The
did.
logo for Conspiracy Horseman has the Twitch logo that they
Yeah.
sent last night during the Horseman.
Yep, I just got to download it and take off the white background, and I'll put that up here actually.
Oh, it's in between us right now.
It's not. It's not the Twitch one though. That's just the original one.
Oh, it's still it's an awesome
Yeah.
one.
But yeah, the new one has Twitch right below it. That's very cool. I put it on my Instagram, Hacker Hameen. But I'm gonna try and have that up next week for next week's Horseman.
Nice.
A lot of Davey Boy talking from X-Pac's podcast. Davey Boy Jr., excuse me, Harry Smith. Davey Boy Smith Jr. I don't know why they call him Davey Boy Smith Jr. Just call him Harry, man. They don't need to call him Davey Boy Jr. I wish talks about whether or not he thinks Owen Hart will be inducted in the Hall of Fame. He says, I wish Owen could get inducted in the Hall of Fame, but unfortunately it doesn't look like that's going to happen. The only way I could see it happening is like Martha, her deal is that she doesn't want WWE to make a profit off of it. I can't speak for Martha, but if WWE were to say, okay, we're going to induct Owen into the Hall of Fame and earnings or whatever profits we make will be donated to the Owen Hart Foundation, I think she might be more willing to do something like that. But even then, I don't think she's going to let that happen. I understand where she's coming from. She was Owen's wife. That's fair. I can't really argue with that. I do think that it would be great to have him inducted. I could see the charity thing working out. You can only hold a grudge. It's only going to eat you up for so long. On Harry, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say if Brett can get over it, I'm sure anybody can. That was the longest grudge to hold for that. She got paid what 16 million or something like that.
14 million, I believe.
14, but she went over to Oxford, got a degree. Brett had an interview where he was really, there's no contact. It's very sad,
right,
to have that. And Owen Hart is just a legend in the business. Owen Hart is a Hall of Famer, and for everybody that says, well, it'd be nice to see him in the Hall of Fame. Once again, it's not a meritocracy like the NFL one, like the baseball one, or the hockey one. It's you're chosen by Vince. He could still not choose to do it, even after she opens up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be enough, and the fans will push that enough too. That's just something she needs to get some therapy for to let go of. To be honest with you, that's a closure. The longer she holds on to it, the more that bad blood that's going to be just for her. You got to let it go. Harry Smith Jr. talks about the real heat between Brett and Shawn. Growing up, I love Shawn Michaels, yourself, X-Pac, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, and everybody. I always seemed to me that Brett always had more of an issue with the Clique than Davey Boy did. Depending on what kind of relationship Davey was having with Brett at the time, if they were getting along, not getting along. One day you'd talk to Davey, and him and Brett were cool, and the next time he'd be taking Shawn's side on things. Kind of like the weather. For me, growing up, it was interesting. It was always intense. You always know that between Brett and Shawn, there was real heat, and that's something that's kind of missing nowadays because many people have real heat like that. Because not many people have real heat like that. But they were always professional. Sometimes these things make the best matches. I got to agree with that. Funny that Davey Boy Jr. is a Clique guy. Instead of a Hart Foundation guy. Where were you? You were a Brett guy or you a Shawn guy?
I just enjoyed the feud. I didn't really have a side. And when it was going on, it was when they were getting very creative with the U.S. and the Canada stuff.
Right.
So I just enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, and I saw that. Yeah, I was a worker then in '97.
Yeah, you absolutely were. That's what I'm saying. That's why you're giving me an evasive, non-mark answer right now.
Well, Shawn Michaels was one of the reasons I got into the business, and I was extremely disappointed at one time when having some run-ins with him in WWE. So, not quite. And this is at post-Christian.
Yeah.
So you have more ammo.
Right.
So I never met Brett really, except for a brief 2-minute conversation. So I couldn't even speak on who I liked better as a worker.
Right.
I thought it was great that guys our size, because I wasn't as big as them, but I was a smaller guy with their height. I thought that's the bigger picture as a worker. I was like, I got a shot. I could work in WWE now. I don't have to just stay in ECW or maybe try to learn how to be a cruiserweight in WCW. I can actually work and get recognized at the size. It was changing. So
yeah, they did change the size game out of that Big John Studd Bundy era. Absolutely, that's a great point.
Wasn't an evasive answer, by the way.
I was a Brett guy when I was a Mark back then. My brother was a HBK guy. A lot of big wars in our house back then.
So you had a playgirl in the house?
Did he? Yeah, I was.
You have to ask him.
I have to get it for him actually for Christmas present. Maybe that'd be a good rib. Davey Boy Smith Jr. talks about Jake Stink Roberts encounter. We're all fine. The whole thing was just so stupid. I don't have any problems with Jake Roberts at all. I called him. I wanted to bury the heat anyway. My issue is with the jabroni wannabe bullshit websites that make a fender out of a fart. They tell lies and blow things out of proportion. It's all good now, but I don't feel bad about it because I was standing up for my family, and I told them a couple times through Twitter or through friends to please stop bad-mouthing Davey Boy and my father. In his interviews, talk about something else, or if you had a problem with him, why didn't you talk to him back in '97? I'm glad they hammered it out after he threw coffee in his face, I guess. Carl Anderson welcomes a new baby boy, his 4th child. And they named him Cash. Classic Johnny Cash fans, I guess, probably.
4 kids.
4 kids, man. And all their boys, I think, are like 8 and under, maybe 9 and under. So Mama's got a whole tribe running around of, bumped and bruised knees while she's trying to care for the little ones, too.
Whew. 2 cats, and they're hard to deal with. I can't imagine 4 kids.
Yeah, man. But congratulations on all that, man. Hopefully you get some time to spend with them. But you haven't really seen them a ton on TV. It doesn't mean they're not working the house shows. I don't know. That's a crew of guys who you think they're on the future endeavor list, or now the fact that he's got the new baby that might have bought him a little bit more time.
Wasn't there a story that they might be going back to New Japan, but he's pretty happy with the deal he has now?
Right. Yeah.
Well, they brought him in for really good money to get him off New Japan, right?
Yes.
That may not last. Now we come into it's like a shoot. Well, you're not really getting over. You haven't won a whole lot of matches, so now you're back down to $75,000 a year. That's the kind of stuff that.
Yeah, that's scary with 4 kids, right?
Well, because in that way they're going to work you just enough. They do a deal where it's like you'll have a $75,000 downside or whatever your downside is. They'll give it to where you make 10 or 20 over. Right. And it's like, hey, we gave you more than we worked you more than your guarantee, but it's so sporadic and it's not really anything that you can get merchandise off of, get over, because that's where you're going to make your money. The merchandise, not even the video games so much, because there's 60 guys. Those shirts that, Sasha Banks has the fucking glasses, has the rings, all the accessories, and all the lunch boxes, all that shit. If you're not on those, that's big money. Sometimes that's way more than your guarantee. That's where you make out, and also it keeps coming in.
Right.
Whether you wrestle or not. So, that was frustrating for me because you get to a point where you're working so hard, but you're on, in my case, Heat or Velocity. In their case, Main Event or Superstars, I think, are the secondary shows. So they can be on every house show and be on those TV shows or working, doing these non-paid appearances with signings and everything. They could be on the road 200-300 days a year, making maybe 100.
Yeah, and he could be on the indies working 50, weeks a year, just weekends, getting probably $1,500 to $2,000.
Yeah, and go to Japan whenever you want.
You go to Japan twice, right?
The key is for those guys, and somebody said in the chat room last night, the Young Bucks are not making anywhere near what they say. Well, that's what happens with a lot of guys. But guess what? they're still making a living, being able to live in California,
No.
being able to save up. And you
I
think
disagree.
they are. I
I
think they
think
are
they
too.
fucking absolutely are. If you sorry to jump in here, if you were at that fucking Slammiversary show, every 5th to 8th shirt was a Bullet Club Young Bucks shirt, and that's just at Slammiversary in that room. And so let's say, I bet there was, let's just lowball, I bet there was 100 Bullet Club or Young Bucks or Villain shirts in there. Let's just say that was all their money. Every one of those that they sell, they just get 6 to 10. They probably get $10 a shirt, I imagine, from pro wrestling tees. There's $1,000 just right in the room. Like, go global with it of what they're getting every day. I've seen Matt showed me his Gmail. This is back in 2CW before they were even really over. Like Bullet Club, there was no real Young Buck shirt and shit. And dude, it was just one pro wrestling tee sale email after another on his phone from that day. So, like, you guys have no idea. And then the Funko Pop, #1 seller at Hot Topics in every mall in fucking America to Japan, you know, UK and shit. They're making that fucking money. Don't doubt that they're not.
Yeah, I agree. And also, no, don't forget, like little things like Stephen Amell. I looked at his Instagram, and he had a Young Bucks shirt on as he's working out,
Yep.
which got at the time like 563,000 likes. That's leads right there. Like,
Right.
what shirt is Stephen Amell wearing? I want to buy that.
Yep.
Say if you only sell 1% off of the number of people that viewed that, you're still making a ton of
That's
money.
$30,000.
Yeah, so
5,000
you're
shirts.
a fucking math wizard, Jesus,
Thanks.
man. So, but the more important thing for them, especially at their stage and how they value their families, their wives, their kids especially, is the fact that they aren't forced to work. They choose their bookings. They
Right.
go and work. They choose to do that to make a better future. Being on the road as a professional wrestler, being on the road as any job, the worst thing is when you're on the road and you know you have to be on the road for 2 to 3 weeks, you know you're hurting, you know you can't take time off. And you know at the top of that too, that your pay is never really going to go up because it's not in your hands.
Right.
The ceiling is already set all around you. So the Bucks, to a lesser extent, even us or anybody who's an independent contractor or a true independent contractor, I can choose to try to at least, my God, try my best to make the best living that I can, and let's see where it goes. In their case, I can work whenever we want. If I want to take off a weekend and spend time with my kids or birthday party or something,
Right.
there's an intrinsic value in that. So Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows too might be turning around saying, man, they paid us for 3 years for our misery. Let's go back to New Japan and let's fucking get our pro wrestling, like the Bullet Club again. And we can fucking get a piece of that. We can get a piece of this. We can do this. And I might make $50,000 less. But guess what? I'm spending $50,000 less on the road for expenses.
Not as much bullshit to deal with politics wise, none of that shit, right? Like they just show up in big league and fucking get over where they need to, and that's it, man. It's an interesting way to look at things when you're at that level now, for sure, especially if you got 4 kids. Jeff Hardy discusses coming home to WWE and recent injury. Jeff Hardy on his injury. It's scary at first, you know, intimidating. Like every night, okay, this is the night. All of them, the little clicks and cracks in there. I am gonna hurt it again. But so far, so good, man. I have more lower back issues and elbow issues than rotator cuff surgery, so it's all good. I'm coming back to WWE, so I think it's pretty exciting. Like coming back at WrestleMania 33 with Matt, coming home, we actually had this conversation before we returned. I was like, I was the one doing these WrestleMania spots in the other company we were in. Like, okay, I'm tired of doing this in front of 1,000 people. I should be doing this in front of 75,000 people. And so it all worked out, and we came back because we wanted to finish what we started, which is where we started, which is in WWE. So yes, it's exciting to be 40 years old, still painting my face, still having good matches, and feeling very healthy. Just very blessed and lucky to be here. Hopefully you can stay on the straight and narrow with sobriety and stay healthy. I know we talked briefly that Matt might be done. Some cryptic tweets that way that his hip and spine were kind of fused together from years of doing that leg drop. So maybe we'll get kind of this last year of a Hardy Boys dream run together or something along those lines. But right now, I would go to the Broken Universe, but it's kind of played out, I guess. I don't know where to go really.
Yeah, I think it's well past where they can capitalize on it. Like you said, back when they did it, they only got maybe a 40% return at best.
Yeah.
and they're not gonna, and they own it now. So it's really weird. You went through all that trouble to get it, and WWE is not doing the true broken universe. You can go from woken to broken,
Yep.
and just to try to explain it, but now they've been planning that Ronda Rousey, Alicia Fox angle for all these months.
That's it. Everybody's pumped about it. Jeff, his angle did get over with the fucking ear pull with Orton. Where he's at now. So he's got good business, a little bit better than Bray and Matt do with the B team, but kind of the lead story on SmackDown outside of your title picture. So.
Are they getting these two poor guys? They are not getting over the B team guys, and it's just because you're putting them over as somebody that's not a good. They're not good. Yeah. They're lucky. Not, you know what I mean? There's nothing to them now.
Right.
They should have just continued to imitate Bray and Hardy. Was the best stuff they did. And came out
the
as
thing
every week.
is what we said. The best thing is. That's when you take them back to the broken universe, Lake of Reincarnation. They come out as perfect in IRS, and that's what their next thing is through WrestleMania. They're new generation version of their fathers.
Yeah, why not?
And in our last story, Nazi gimmicked wrestler Blitzkrieg will keep his teaching job. School board says he didn't violate any policies. Kevin Bean, the teacher, also portrays Blitzkrieg, the German juggernaut at independent wrestling events, will not lose his job after his school district says he didn't violate any board policies. Bean's Nazi gimmick came to light after he was subject of a viral video that showed him doing Nazi salutes and shouting Sieg Heil at an event. Bean was under investigation by his employer, the Springford area school district, and the school has since been issued the following statement. On the afternoon of July 19th, the Springford area school district was made aware of a video featuring 6th grade teacher Kevin Bean outside of the school setting participating in a professional wrestling event. Once we were made aware of this video, our administrative team quickly moved to conduct a thorough internal investigation with the assistance of our school district solicitor and the cooperation of Mr. Bean, as well as the Springford Education Association president. Jesus. Based on the investigation we completed, we found no evidence indicating violation of board policies by Mr. Bean. As such, Mr. Bean will continue to remain a teacher within the district. As we shared previously, the actions were demonstrated in the video are not supported or sanctioned by the Springford Area School District, and we will continue to work with our staff so that we may continue to uphold the high standards of our community has come to expect. As part of our investigation, it was shared with Mr. Bean the concerns that were raised about the character he played. While many understand that professional wrestling is a form of entertainment and not the reflection of one's personal beliefs, Mr. Bean understands that the character he played has been viewed by some as being offensive. Recognizing these concerns, Mr. Bean wanted to share the following with the community. Almost there. The character I portrayed did not reflect my personal feelings or beliefs. I do apologize to those in the community who were offended by such actions. I've spent many years working in the Springford community and pride myself in providing an exceptional education to my students over the course of 14 years. Then back to the school board says, we recognize that there may be an emotional impact for some parents, students, and community members who may have lingering concerns based on the news coverage and social media exposure of this situation. Students may have questions or concerns as we get closer to the state of the school year. And if this is the case, I encourage you to talk with your students about this situation, reassure them that all of our Springford schools are safe and welcoming to each and every student. In addition, the district has many additional helpful resources available to assist you. I hope I get a chance to tag with them. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, the Washington Post actually has a story about this from a little bit ago. They actually, one of the sources was Vince's friend, Ryan Satin.
Oh, yeah.
He tweeted about it. So there we go there.
This video makes him sick.
Yeah, so here's this one's for you out of the 160 comments. Unfreeze. This is equivalent to someone dressing as a 9/11 suicide polite, not pilot, polite, or serial rapist murderer. So, Ben, you're in trouble for being a serial suicide polite.
Okay. I will suicide my politeness upon you.
Hey, how are you doing, building? How are you?
Yeah. Hey, buddy. Hope you're having a good day.
Do your New Day White interviewer voice. Go ahead. Nothing wrong with that.
Hey there, pal. You're looking pretty spiffy there today. I think you got a nice shine on your windows. How's that? That take down the building yet or no?
No, you're good.
Okay.
Be extra polite, please. All right. Well, you got to move on. That's it. I just feel like this whole thing. I couldn't just be on Twitter all day, just looking for or scrubbing the internet, looking for things to tweet about, so somebody can pay attention to me.
Well,
except the 12-week resistance band training program available at StevieRichardsFitness.com.
Excellent job. Yeah, man, the guys in Pennsylvania, that's a Nazi gimmick. I'd like it if he was a history teacher. I think it's fine, man. We can talk about this up and down with my shit. Like, people just want to be butthurt. I invite Satin to come at me, bro. See what the fuck happens. Because I'll spin it on you and get twice the press off of it that you could. So
he would probably try to get you fired from the company that you owned.
Yeah, it could be. He's like Hameen Media. He needs to be stepped down as CEO.
All right. Jesus, these people.
Yep. But yeah, man, that's your Friday locker room news. Appreciate everybody here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horsemen. About 20 viewers with us this morning as I try and get it out. It was a good time. Appreciate Stevie getting up early because we got to get up even earlier tomorrow to head to Rocky Mountain Pro. So glad we can get this in the can. I'll try and get it produced tonight and set to go live in the morning after I get out of Mark job later today. So yeah, it's been kind of not a slow news week, I guess, but your average news week. But check out Conspiracy Horsemen, like we said. It's a crazy topic right now with the Alex Jones banning and what's coming next. But what's coming next for you, Stevie? We talked about this weekend.
Well, obviously, you said we're going to fly out tomorrow. My workout will start at 2:15 a.m. tomorrow, and then I will fly and land. I always got to get the workouts in before I fly out. My flight's at 6:15, so I'll get into Denver early. Denver Airport, the World Airport Commission Airport. So I'll be able to play around a little bit, and as I'm walking with my world famous gimbal that doesn't work correctly, I will see what kind of footage I can get, because that might be our next kind of more voiceover B-roll type thing, and maybe talk to people about the airport while we're in Colorado, maybe some of the wrestlers, maybe Russo, and have those set up as our next little mini doc that we're going to do on the follow-up. So I'll be doing that, and then obviously Friday and Saturday, it's going to be incredible 2 days that we're going to document as much as we can. So stay tuned to our Twitter, stay tuned to Twitch. We'll probably be twitching. I'll probably be twitching after Al fucking hits me, but we'll be on Twitch on Russo's channel, Vince Russo Live. We'll be here, and I might be doing some actual workouts in the hotel room as far as my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Stevie Richards Fitness. Other than that, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And of course, I've mentioned it already with a quick plug, 12-week resistance band training program at StevieRichardsFitness.com. We actually got a couple of sales as we were recording. I'm very grateful for that. Also, you can support the brand and support the content by clicking on the Amazon link. That doesn't cost you any money at all, and it'll help me buy stuff that I can't get for free, like this microphone.
New mic sounds great. Looks awesome on camera. I'm so happy we could get this in. Looking good there, microphone. Yeah, let me get you with my politeness. Looking sleek, sexy. And, it's Hacker Hameen on Instagram, at bin_Hameen on Twitter. You guys know, get the numbers up. $5 face slaps are over there. Bin Hameen on YouTube. Over 600 videos, I believe, on there. Everything from Horseman stuff to old OVW to 2CW bootlegs. All great content on there. So follow wherever you want to. You guys, hackerhameen.podbean.com, doing great things this week. Up over 5,000. Actually hit a spike of 3,700 last Saturday from all the shows. So I couldn't be happier with all the work that all our producers are doing out there. I heard rumor Strangler Steve is getting the itch to come back to the Wednesday locker room. So I hope he joins us again there. Appreciate those guys picking up the slack. Bello filling in for me. I believe it might be Bello. No, it's Matt Schaffer Gage actually doing his first spot on Hameen Media, as much as he does for us promotions wise. Appreciate him. He's going to fill in with Big Ray on the Impact Attack while we're away. So But yeah, follow all the Twitches. This one, Conspiracy Horseman, Stevie Richards Fitness, and Russo Brand, because I imagine we'll be going live on that all weekend long from Rocky Mountain Pro, you guys. But it's Hacker Hameen, Stevie Richards, ProWrestlingTees.com/Your Throat Infidels. We'll be back next week. Your Friday Locker Room, Conspiracy Horseman. Get all this week's shows. Everybody's kicking ass all the time around here. YOLO.